we can finally start working on the top. I like the original design. If you look, the lower channel is cut deeper than the upper channel because it doesn't set the chamfer. We just want to cut some of this material out of these blocks to get it out of the way. I'm also adding an additional support this time. It'll fit on like this and help lock in over the side rail. I've switched to a brand new blade because this top cut is important. Now that the top is prepared, I'm going to use 1/4-inch polyethylene for the top track. This stuff requires serious caution when you're cutting it. Now I have all my pieces prepared for my top assembly. Polyethylene is just a big word for hard white plastic. You can't sand it, so it's really abrasion resistant. But it's soft, so it doesn't scratch stuff. It'll be a really good surface to put on this. I can't emphasize enough how careful you have to be when you're cutting it though. I had a friend that actually ruined his miter saw with it because it caught. Even a little tiny piece has an incredible strength, and if it catches in your blade, it'll be a disaster. I'm going to start by putting together these support brackets. I set up a little 45-degree board here to help keep it where it belongs. I'm also working on a really flat surface, a piece of plexiglass. The tape will set my depth for how deep I want to drill the screw. The top track is now prepared. Let's consider the spacing now. When looking at the prototype, the spacing leaves a little more than 1/4 inch in between the two. This size represents the maximum chamfer that we can make. This spacing served me pretty well in the past, but sometimes on really little pieces it can almost fall through and it can ruin the chamfer. These size limitations made me consider putting one side of the track on stationary and letting the other adjust with some type of sliding mechanism. But to finish this project, I'm just going to screw it together, and I can always change it later if I want. I've decided that I'm going to keep the same spacing as last time. But before I screw it all together, I'm going to knock off these corners here just to remove some extra weight and excess material. I have it clamped down nice and securely where I want to keep it, and I made this little gauge that set it to 0.28 of an inch. I'm going to screw it together with 2-inch drywall screws. They'll make it through both layers and into the side rail. The only thing left to do is finish it. I'm going to use linseed oil because it's fast and easy. While I had it apart to oil it, instead of using the white PVC spacer, I used a piece of this clear tubing. What that does is it secures the bolt in the upright position and keeps it from falling out. All finished finally. The last thing that I'm going to add is an on-off switch to make it a little easier to work. Let's test it out. I forgot to put in the crystals. Well, there you have it. The delicate chamfering device. Hope the video wasn't too long and boring. Thanks a lot.